Coming up next is my dear friend Abbas. Some context on him is he was the first bounty sheriff for Super Team, and he's going to be talking about communities, right? But he's one of the best people to speak about this because he has hacked his career based on community building. Everybody else, what I see is they just talk about growing Twitter audience as such, right? Abbas knows the dynamics of how communities are grown from the inside out, right? So give it up for Abbas in speaking about communities.
GM everyone. Okay, I hope I'm good and audible. Just quick intro. Yash did a phenomenal job at introducing me and he's very kind. But I've been in this ecosystem for quite some time, about 4.5 years. My primary entry into crypto as someone who contributes or works was with Super Team. So I'll give a quick glimpse of that as well and why this topic makes sense or why I chose this. Essentially, this topic is about building a home base or a community for founders, builders that want to build a product, as well as someone who's just starting out in crypto and wants to find their virtual home base or their space. Why it's relevant, how do I come into the picture? When I started in crypto, I was hopping around NFT communities, I was hopping around trading communities, talking to people, contributing as a builder, helping them with growth, marketing, and a bunch of other things. With time, I found Super Team, which was about 1 week old. And I think one of the first things I did as someone who joined this community was I created a YouTube channel. So if anybody wants to check it out right now, if you have internet access, you can go to YouTube and type Super Team podcast clips. That's how I joined Super Team. I essentially edited the existing videos they had, made a clips channel, and that was my first entry into Super Team. So back in 2021. So it's been forever since. And I started building after that the bounty program, got onboarded as the bounty sheriff up until I'd say last year, first quarter. And I've seen the journey that I've had personally as someone who was a person creating YouTube clips versus then being the bounty sheriff and then working with research, strategy, product growth, and a bunch of other things in the Solana ecosystem. We're also seeing every single contributor's journey in Super Team. People who are members, people who are close to me, they are friends. We have really tight bonds now. We hang together, work together, have close relationships. And we also have people that went through the bounty program as earners and participants and ended up building something for themselves, whether it's as a writer, a developer, designer, and so on. So I've seen that entire journey. And this talk is exactly about that. It's about building your home base. If you are a founder, if you're a builder, if you want to create something for your community, this is the talk for you. If you are someone who's a participant who wants to access crypto and create this ecosystem for yourself where you nurture and grow, this is again a talk for you as well. So take it in both POVs. That's what I'll try and do. You'll see essentially the same two topics I'm talking about. It's just split into two different audiences. All right, so it's founders and builders and participants. If you're a founder and builder, you can use this to build your GTM, your growth strategy, your community strategy. And that's something people struggle with a lot. You're unable to identify how to start or bootstrap attention for a product, and this might help you. The general thing you'll get from most people that help you with growth or marketing in the ecosystem is, hey, you can start a Telegram group or a Discord group, do a Twitter traction thing, do quests on some platform like Layer 3 or whatever, and get the attention you need, right? Doesn't work. You need to focus your energy on something that's of high value and high utility, and I'll speak about that in detail. So value creation in economy, you want to go for deep value creation as much as possible. That means go into a niche. If you're a DeFi product, you want to do trading-centric conversations. If you are, let's say, a protocol infra piece, you want to do builder-centric conversations. How do you get people started building and earning? At the end of the day, and that's what Super Team's premise has been on as well, so you all probably are exposed to that, it's focus on earning opportunities, creating value through that. It's the most stickiest one. And every chain, every ecosystem is now focusing on that piece. And I'm exposed to mostly all of them. All right, some core things to remember as a founder, as a builder, if you're getting started. You need a good infra piece. If you're an early hacker, an early dev, you don't need to worry about the details of this, right? You need to figure out the community utility piece. That is, what is the core proposition of the community? And I come to that as well eventually. But this is also helpful for a participant who's looking to identify a community. you want to know where do you stand as a community member in an ecosystem. When you join a community, let's say super team, let's say FBI is pretty popular in India now. We have a bunch of other communities. You want to look at them and go like, hey, do these communities offer me the select points, right? Do they let me grow as a participant and a contributor? So that's about it. Incentive structures, hierarchies, core activities. So communities will use core activities and success metrics to like define what their goal is. For super team, it was earning, having the highest GDP. You can always go to earnings.superteam.fun, find out that. And lastly, community utility. Some examples of communities. I've picked the two most familiar ones for you guys to understand. The two are, of course, FBI and Super Team, exposed to that. But then there's Mad Lads as well. Mad Lads has their own unofficial groups. I've been a part of all of these groups almost. And these communities are built around referrals and relationships or sharing context, sharing information, as much value creation as possible. So entirely built on relationships. You want to be a part of this group. You want to be a part of this home base of sorts. So whether it's an NFT community based on purchasing an asset, whether it's a contribution-based community or content-based community, could be anything, right? Or just like a Twitter thread, doesn't matter. As long as you find your like-minded people, interest groups, which have high reputation, high value creation, that's your focus area. All right, good infra, what do I mean by that? There's a few things. You generally want to have strong communication tools that enable conversations, highly managed members within a community. So let's say if you have a small group of 50, 30, 70 people for your product, you want to, one, provide high utility, but also have good infra for them to manage things within that community, whether it's a Telegram group or a Discord server or a Twitter group. I don't know why you would do that, but we do that to ourselves a lot. All right, next, just facilitate interactions and conversations between members within a group as much as you can. This is a, how do I put it? This is a high interaction, high touch point activity. You'd have to be present to it one step at a time, one person at a time. So it's not exactly scalable, but definitely benefits because you now find evangelists that can contribute to your brand and product in the long term. Incentive structures, hierarchies. Again, the inner circle piece comes over here. I talk about this a lot. As a builder who wants to start a community or a small closed group, you want to identify who your inner circle is. That means there's always going to be spectators, there's always going to be people who like lurk around, contribute a little, go away for a quite long time. There are co-contributors. So there's this hierarchy of sorts that you want to incentivize, and that's completely fine. Not everyone is meant to be a co-contributor. Someone could be a lurker in your group, but a co-contributor somewhere else. So you want to find those people that are aligned with your product and your incentive structure or whatever your mission and goal is. Member roles, again, non-monetary, monetary incentives, you can find a wide range of things. So as a builder, that's your priority, but as a participant, you're going to look for these things and then identify whether someone's put in effort in building their community or not. Ideally, I don't spend time in communities that do not take the effort to, facilitate conversations, start interactions, have activities, do engagement. If they're just going to be there and expect me to chat about something without actually trying to reel me into this conversation, I'm not going to participate, right? And at best, every person has the bandwidth to be, let's say, a core contributor for like 2 projects. So you want to be that person who gets these 10, 20 early, highly focused people. All right, like I spoke about the checklist of sorts of like what kind of tier structure you could have in a community and who is the inner circle essentially. You're going for the co-contributors and contributors. The number depends. Ideally, you'd prefer like 10, 20 people being over there. It's almost the power laws in favor of whatever you end up building. 100 people, 20 people, co-contributors. The rest are just almost always in and out of the conversation. All right, this basically brings me, I've summed up a lot of the part of this deck with how builders can benefit from it and maybe partly how a participant or a contributor can benefit from it. But the largest piece over here is as a participant and contributor, you're trying to build like an internet on-chain stack of yours. And I speak about this a lot. I'll share my Twitter later so you can always find my ramblings over there about this. But essentially, you're trying to look at building your inner circle in a home base on the internet. So you'll have a close relationship with friends, could be a group of 7, 10, 20 people. This is almost always called the it's called a cabal now. I think it's this terrible word that's come along in the ecosystem for some reason. It was supposed to be exchange cabals and all these weird pump and dump things, but now everyone has their own private cabal. You just don't know it yet. You're a part of this group where you share information about airdrops, about whatever, new trends, new products, and so on, and that's your cabal. So one, keep engaging, keep indulging more into that, lean into that conversation, get into the smaller groups. You end up building much more value for yourself and for your friends or your immediate circle. That could be a separate group, it could be a part of an existing product group, whatever that is. Next, just access earning opportunities through that. Now, this could be by just participating in the meta that's currently trending. It could be actually earning, but your inner circle will help you get through the ecosystem pretty quickly. You'll be able to get jobs, get opportunities, gigs. The referral rate is pretty high and high value. Lastly, good OPSEC. I keep saying this again and again, and I have a few sessions out there that I've put. I'll probably post a video as well soon. Have good OPSEC for your crypto. If you're going to be on chain, you want to not worry about your money. You don't want to lose your money. And I've seen plenty of my friends get burned, lose money, and never come back to crypto. I wish no one here has to go through that. And if you need OPSEC help and ideas, I won't post a lot of the things on Twitter because that compromises my OPSEC as well. But feel free to DM me, ask questions. I'm happy to answer. And lastly, build your on-chain reputation. Reputation.superteam.fun is a great example of a site where someone can point to it. That's how I got a lot of my early gigs as well. A lot of my friends got early gigs as well. So they could just point to this site and go like, hey, check my ranking. My ranking is 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 10th. And someone knew that they were high value contributors because Superteam has a reputation to protect. So they're not going to it's not going to be some scammy rank. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope that helped as far as building communities is concerned and as well as participating in one in high value. And you can always reach out to me on my Twitter. Thanks so much.
Oh,